What is a cool history fact that you think people should know? One time the British Navy kidnapped two Maori chiefs in the hope of learning the secrets of Maori rope making. Not realizing that in Maori society rope making was traditionally a woman's job, so these poor chiefs had no idea what they were doing. Teach us the ways of your rope making, savage. Hey, bro, did you bring my wife? No. Then thus is gonna be a long day. When hiding a body you should dig a 5-meter grave, drop the body, fill the grave up until it's 2 meters deep and then put a dead animal inside. Then fill the grave until it's full. You do that because no matter what you do the dirt is gonna look like it has been dug up, but that way if someone digs the grave again he will see that he just ruined a pet's grave and he will leave it at peace. But that's not the history fact I am here for. The history fact is that the technique mentioned above was invented by pirates during the golden age of piracy. But instead of a body it was treasure and instead of an animal was a body. It's funny how things change. Might use this later. In 1847, the Choctaw Nation raised $170 for the Irish people, equivalent to thousands of dollars now, to help ease their suffering during the worst year of the Irish famine. This came just after almost half of the Choctaw Nation were lost on the Trail of Tears, as their people were driven from their land by American settlers and perished due to starvation, so they had absolutely nothing and they sent all this over to a country they didn't even know. Ireland never forgot it and now has a special scholarship scheme for members of the Choctaw Nation to go to college there. Egypt, despite being one of the oldest nations on Earth, has only been independent for less than a century. Before that, the last truly independent Egypt was around 300 BC. For over 2,000 years, Egypt was under foreign rule. What about the Mamluks? In World War I many leaders of European countries, Russia, England, Germany, were cousins or at least related because Queen Victoria had 9 children and married many of them off to other kingdoms which became countries. World War I was also the largest family feud ever. King Henry VIII of England had people who were called grooms of the stool whose job it was to wipe his bottom. During his reign, he had 4 such people, all of whom were knighted. It was considered a very prestigious job. Not many people had such ready access to the king and it's thought they dressed him and even helped control their finances. Did you know that at one point during the Second World War, the Germans built fake airfields from wood to trick England and its allies into believing they were more powerful than they actually were? England saw right through this and took the piss out of it by building fake wooden bombs and dropping them on the airfields. The Brits fooled the Nazis by building fake air bases and using blow-up tanks, planes and the like. A few men would move things around. If memory serves they even had recordings to make the Nazis think lots of men were there. There was a Greek woman named Sappho who lived on the island of Lesbos and wrote romantic poetry about her love for women. She had a husband named Kirkhalos of Andros, who historians think was made up. She is the reason why lesbians are called lesbians. Elaboration: the reason why historians think that her husband was fake is because his name translates to penis face from Man Island, or something along those lines. Edit: as many have pointed out, the name is actually Dick Hulcox from Man Island, or Dick Hulcox from the Isle of Man, depending on who you ask. It's not literally penis face, although that's also hilarious. John Tyler, the 10th President of the United States who was president from 1841 to 1845 has 2 grandchildren who are still alive today. Explain please. Holy shit, 1K upvotes, I love you all. Not sure how cool but definitely funny. When Khosrau destroyed Antioch he took precise measurements of all the buildings and rebuilt the city nearby and named it roughly better than Antioch because Khosrau built this just to spite the Byzantines. That's a power move.